There is a big one though, and it's not even MMA; it is boxing. And let's just be honest, man. As much as I like the UFC biggest 63 main event, I like that some of the fights in the Bellator card. Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva is the biggest thing happening this weekend, and it's a little bit weird because this Jake fight doesn't even feel like it has as much hype behind it as his first one with Woodley, for instance, the Askren one. But I feel like as we get closer to fight night, that will change. Yeah, man, Jake Paul, the problem child. We're talking about him for the first time since his win over Tyron Woodley in the rematch in December 2021, last December. Undefeated as a pro, 5-0, 4 knockouts. Cleveland's own, taking on the Spider, Anderson Silva, the Brazilian great, former UFC champion, one of the GOATs at MMA, moved into boxing, beat Chavez Jr., knocked out Tito Ortiz, and had an exhibition where he did not knock out the guy, but he easily could have, which was really, really funny. I encourage people to watch Anderson's exhibition with Bruno Machado, because at one point in round 6, it looks like he just forgets he's supposed to be taking it easy. He nearly knocked him the fuck out. So, yeah. So Anderson's a beast in the boxing ring. The question is has Jake made up the gap in the year, almost a year that he's been out of the ring? I think whenever most people had this fight announced, they thought, oh, Jake's going to fuck up this old man, or this old man's going to fuck up Jake. Just because his boxing skill is so wide, and we saw that in the Tito and the Julio fights. And when you're at his age, he's 47, you drop off a cliff. Like, it's a miracle that he's as good as he is for his age. And he could just randomly drop off a cliff one of these days. Angel, give me your excitement level for this fight. What do you think about it as of right now, just a couple of days away from the showdown on Showtime?
Man, I'm excited, A big one for Jake, big one for Anderson. Hey, man, are you not excited?
No, I thought it would be funny if you just started right there. You're like, no, I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean,
stop. You don't say anything else.
I'm excited. That was the end of it. I don't say anything else.
Yeah, you just stop right there. You're like, you fucking.
What is? I was like, Josh, I could give 2 fuck. No, I was kidding.
Like, Josh, this is an MMA show. Let's fucking get back to fighting.
Let's get back. Let's go talk. Fighting. This is like CFC is going down this week, right? It's like Alaska FC, No, but to reel it back in. No, I'm genuinely excited. Like I mean, Josh, you know this. I almost flew out to Arizona to watch this live.
This is true, guys. This is a true story. Our former guest host of the pod, Nate Beggs.
I mean, Josh, I was about to be Jorge Masvidal. Less than a week's notice, I was going to fly out to Arizona, show up, make weight, and watch the fight.
Damn, you're going to make weight.
I was going to make a weight, dude.
You're going to do a weight cut just for no reason.
I was doing weight cut for no reason.
You're going to go to the fight fucking shredded, though.
Yes. I was going to go make weight and be shredded. But, man, let me tell you this. I was definitely not fighting 187, let me tell you. But, no, talking about the actual fight, look.
Fuck up Francis Ngannou, man.
Yeah. Nah. But, stylistically, right, I think out of all the opponents that Jake's had, he's going to be the hardest, most elusive. Anderson is just awkward. I mean, there's tiny little shit that we even saw in that Chavez fight. Like, even shit that he'll do with, like, the foot. He'll move a foot a certain way. Just to, like, throw you off. He's not doing anything. He's just doing it to, like, throw out a jab, just throw you off, or little hesitations that he does. I mean, he's going to deal with the feints that he's never seen before. There's no one that Jake can bring in to imitate Anderson Silva. Let's just be honest. No. That's the thing. And granted, at his level, who knows bringing in someone who to even try to imitate his style is affected him or not, right? But I think this will show a lot of, I mean, how genuinely how good of a boxer Jake is, how much he's progressed. And I think if he does knock him out and finish Anderson, which the MMA community is hoping doesn't happen, they'll be like, well, he was 47, he had been knocked out in MMA, yada yada, there'll be a lot of that. But I think you have to.
Impressive win, though.
I think it'd be his most impressive win to date. I think and then if he gets that Tommy fight, I feel like that's kind of like shit, man. Anderson still fought, like we referenced Julio Cesar Chavez, man. People want to clown and make fun of. I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, that guy fought for a world title. He had multiple.
No, not even just fought. He was a champion.
He held the title. He's been in there with some of the best. He's held his own, and he's competed a lot. He has multiple rounds at his belt, way more than Anderson Silva in boxing. And Anderson Silva had the performance that he did against Chavez Jr.
Dominated him, yeah.
dominated him. It was insane. It was one of the most craziest moments in my time of watching combat sports ever. It's unforgettable.
In fact, it was so lopsided that Anderson beat Chavez in Mexico by decision. They couldn't rob him. One judge gave it to him, but the other two were like, "Fuck, man."
Josh. If anything, it beat in Mexico actually helped Anderson Silva.
Oh, I guess you're right. You're right. I mean, yeah, man, you went and laid it out really well there. I think that Anderson, this would be his best win by a mile, because as much as I like Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren as MMA fighters and people, they're not boxers. And not only are they not boxers, they're not great MMA strikers. I mean, Ben's arguably the worst striker in modern MMA history. I'm sure there were some guys that I've never seen fight, but of guys who made it to a reasonably high level, he's the worst. The guy made Damian Maia look like Roy Jones. That's just, I mean. But anyways, and then even Woodley. I mean, Woodley had hands, but in MMA, because he could feint the takedown and land the right straight. He was great at that. That worked for a long time, but you can't do that in boxing. You can't throw a fucking takedown. So Anderson is a great striker, not only MMA and boxing. And we saw that in the Chavez Jr. win. I know as people hate are like, "Oh my God, Chavez Jr. is like the worst ever." I'm like, he was just being competitive with Daniel Jacobs like a year before he lost to Anderson. Like he was winning against Daniel Jacobs until he quit on the stool in like round 7 because he got tired, which that's Chavez Jr. for you. But I mean, yeah, man, he was a former champion. His fight, he knocked out Andy Lee. His fight with Sergio Martinez, that 12th round is probably my favorite round in boxing history, straight up. It's like that one, Joshua Ruiz, I believe round 3 or round 4, whenever they both got knocked down. There are a couple other good ones, but if you've ever seen Chavez Jr. versus Sergio Martinez round 12, go watch it. It's one of the loudest crowd reactions I've ever seen. And Chavez Jr. was a dog at that point in time. Was he older and more washed by the time he fought Anderson? Yes, but he was also 12 years younger. So, it is what it is. Look, man, as far as the fight goes itself, right now, betting odds are virtually identical. So if you guys want to go and bet on this one, go for it. Angel, gun to your head, do you think the problem child moves on? I know that we've talked about this a lot going into the build-up and kind of going into this fight card about how close it's going to be. It's going to be one of those fights where it's either going to go one way or the other. Either Anderson's going to go out there and put on a boxing clinic, or Jake's going to catch him with that big right. The blonde bomber will do it again. Angel, if you have to make your, I think I'm doing pretty good building this fight up. They should fucking pay me. But anyways, Angel, if you have to make a pick, who would you pick on Saturday?
Look, Josh, the right answer is Anderson Silva. I'm going to be honest with you.
Really?
Like you've said this many of times on this show. When it comes to Jake's fights, Anderson Silva should win this fight. That is more clear now than the Tyron Woodley, any of those. Anderson Silva should beat Jake Paul. He should. Does he? We'll find out. I can always see Jake winning. For the longest, I rode with Jake the whole time, Josh. I'm finally switching it up.
That's what gives me pause, because I've gone back and forth on Jake. Like I remember I picked him to knock the fuck out of Woodley in the first fight. Like I was sold after.
You were a fight late.
I was a fight late because the Askren one I thought like if he can clinch maybe but I was like, all right, well, I forgot this is boxing. Like they're not.
The man came out looking like a bag of milk.
The second Ben Askren clinched, the referee was like, oh whoa, like fucking.
What are you doing?
That shit up and I remember listening to Ben talk about it like a couple of days later. He's like, dude, I watched Frank Mir and Steve Cunningham clinch for 4 rounds. Like fucking.
Come on, dude.
What the hell, man? Like, but yeah, man. I mean, the fact that you're having some pause is kind of the biggest sign. I said this whenever the fight was announced, right? I said that people are going to be surprised by how lopsided this fight is. And I said that in the direction of Anderson. I feel no reason in the months since it's passed to feel any different. You know what I mean? I think that's just all what it comes down to. Jake, I'm sure he's been putting in work, but I rewatched both the Woodley fights, which was essentially like just torturing myself for 40 minutes.
Well, the first one, it was you could.
The first one wasn't a bad fight. Well,
the second one until the knockdown.
probably the worst fight of a big fight I can remember. Like a pay-per-view headliner, I'll put it like that. The worst pay-per-view headliner I've seen in a long time. Because I've seen some bad fights.
Okay, but is it worse than Rose Esparza?
They didn't headline the pay-per-view, but
oh wow, I like good job dodging that one.
No. Well, that's why I prefaced it, because I meant like you'll see bad fights on undercard all the time. Although I do think that Rose Esparza was at least funny.
Okay, Francis Derrick.
No, Francis Derrick was hilarious, but I just probably yeah, I'll say that Jake Woodley 2 is better than that one. But yeah, man. I think people are gonna be surprised at how lopsided this one is. I think Anderson's gonna do this. I think he's gonna do it cleanly. I could see Jake landing some shots. That's not really a question to me. He's gonna land some shots.
If Anderson wins, how's he gonna win, Josh? Can you describe it to me? Could you even paint a picture?
Late stoppage. I think this fight is very, very big for Jake.
Does the corner throw in the towel for Jake?
No, I think he'll just end up getting TKO'd. I think he'll probably what I see happening early is I think Jake's gonna come out and go for broke. Because I think he's very well aware of the fact that he's fighting a guy who's great cardio, who will not slow down for 8 rounds, and he's at a big boxing disadvantage. So his game plan, and more than likely his coach's game plan, is to go in there, go for broke, try and find the big right hand early, pressure him, do yada yada yada. All I think that's going to lead to is Jake taking a bigger beating early than he needs to. That's my thoughts on it. I think that Anderson's going to go ahead and early rounds, pick him apart, stay out of the way, use some more defensive boxing, and then in the middle rounds he's just going to turn. He's going to flip that switch and turn it on, and he's going to end up landing some big shots, and it'll be called off. I don't know which fashion. I mean, when Angel, it's coming to me right now. Actually, I'm getting a vision. I'm getting a vision of the fight.
I see it, Josh. It's Jake. He's doing a Dempsey roll, Mike Tyson style.
No, Angel, I see it. It came to me in a dream. Angel, it came to me in a dream. I think Anderson's gonna knock him out in round 7.
Holy shit! Really?
I think late stoppage.
What punch?
I think Jake's gonna try and land the right hook. Anderson's gonna come back with a left hook, just put him out. Not put him out, but knock him down, and he won't be able to reach the 10 count. But I think there's going to be a fight where we're going to come out of this respecting Jake more. I think I think it's going to be one of those fights where he just gets out of class, but he just keeps on moving forward, and people are going to respect him more. But I think even for Jake, dude, this has to be a huge mind fuck. This has to be a massive mind fuck. I'm not sure if you guys go back and rewatch Jake's fights against Woodley. Especially the first one, he looks like he's shitting his pants in the walk down and in the introductions. He looks like he's about to puke. That had to be a huge moment.
In the second one though, he did a lot better. He came out confident. He was dancing.
But think about this:
he was living in the moment.
He's fighting his literal childhood favorite fighter. That's got to be a big mindfuck for him.
Dude, and not just anybody. Anderson Silva, one of the great in the eyes, some of the GOAT.
The GOAT of MMA in some eyes, and even in boxing, he's very, very skilled,